All right, so good morning, ladies. We are going to start in seated today. Again, it's only going to be about a 45-minute practice just to wake everything up, get you moving, and then you can get on with your day. So starting in seated, whatever that looks like for you, maybe cross-legged, maybe not, maybe you're sitting on props or on pillows, maybe you're propped up against a wall, whatever that looks like and whatever is comfortable for you here. Maybe we roll our shoulders back and down a couple of times, just settling in. And then finding some stillness here. Spine is nice and tall. Maybe we close our eyes or soften our gaze. And just starting to tune inward here. Focusing on your breath for a moment or two. How does it feel to breathe this morning? Maybe you're already relaxed and it's nice and slow, with no judgment whatsoever, just observing the moment here. Maybe you start to notice any sounds you can hear outside the room. Maybe from where you are, you can hear the birds chirping. Or maybe there's just silence. And then bringing your mind back inside the space that you're in and noticing any sounds. Maybe you can hear your breath. Maybe there's music playing. Or maybe there's just the sound of my voice. Starting to notice the thoughts in your mind and trying to let them fly by just like clouds in a sky. Tethering your mind to this moment with this breath. And maybe with our eyes closed, we place our right hand over our heart center for a few breaths. Maybe we can feel our chest rising and falling. Focusing on our heart center here for a moment. Can you feel your heart beating? Maybe we take a nice deep breath into the heart center, almost like we're giving it a nice big warm hug. Really filling up all the spaces in our chest here. Remembering that your heart center is where your light and your truth is. And always giving it a little bit of love and attention. Beautiful. We can remove our hand if that's more comfortable, letting our hands just place gently on our knees. And we can start to wake ourselves up when we're ready. We can wiggle our fingers and our toes. If our eyes were closed, we can slowly bat them open, letting in all the light. Beautiful. Maybe we drop one ear to the shoulder. Maybe we do some shoulder rolls. We can also look from side to side. Maybe we draw circles with our nose in the sky here, really opening up our neck, releasing any tension we have here, especially from a night's sleep. Beautiful. And then coming back to center, we're going to take a couple nice big breaths here. Inhaling, reaching up nice and slow. And exhaling down through heart center. Beautiful. One more time. Inhaling up nice and slow, gathering it all in. And exhale, pulling all that prana, that life force back into our heart center here. Beautiful. We're going to place our hands just gently on the tops of our thighs here. And we're going to reach our hands out over our knees as we round the top of our back, chin to chest here, seated cat. And then as we exhale, we're going to pull our hands back, elbows into the side body, heart shining forward, and do a little baby cow here. Beautiful, and flowing through this just a few times at your pace. We can move nice and slow, maybe moving a bit faster feels good for you, but just checking in where you're at this morning. Beautiful, one more time through here. And then when you finish that, coming back to center, we're gonna inhale our arms up to the sky. And as we exhale, we're gonna twist open to the right. Maybe our arms stay in one long line here. I'm touching my couch behind me. Or we can place our left hand outside of the right knee or on the shin, right fingertips cupped and on the mat. Just opening up our thoracic spine here. Spine is still nice and tall. We're not rounded in. Beautiful, coming back through center, inhaling our arms up to the sky. And exhaling out over to the left. Maybe we keep our arms open like they're wings, or we can plant that right hand on our leg, left fingertips on the mat, whatever feels better for you. Beautiful, coming back to center, inhaling our arms up to the sky. Exhaling our right fingertips to the mat as we reach long through those left fingertips. Nice big inhale, creating space. And exhale, bending to the right, making sure both sits bones are rooted. Only bending as far as we can feel both sits bones on the mat. Really reaching long through those left fingertips, opening up the left side body. Beautiful, exhaling back to center. Left fingertips on the mat this time, reaching our right arm up to the sky. Inhale, really creating length, reaching long before we tip to the left here. Again, both sits bones remaining on the mat. Beautiful, coming back to center. And we're gonna make our way into our tabletop. Fingertips spread nice and wide. Really rooting into that thumb, index, and pinky finger. Really suction cupping, clawing the tips of our fingers into the mat. This is gonna protect your wrists at all times, whether it's in tabletop or downward facing dog. Spine is nice and tall here, knees underneath our hips. And then as we exhale, tailbone lifts, belly lowers, heart shining forward, cow. Exhale, rounding into our cat pose. Inhaling forward, cow. And exhaling to cat. Moving through this a few more times at your own perfect pace. Once again, inviting any other movement you need here, maybe spiraling it out. Maybe holding one shape longer than the other. Beautiful, one more time through before we add on to our cat-cow. And then meeting in our neutral spine, we're gonna bring our knees a little bit wider, maybe not to the edges of the mat. Keeping our feet closer together, we're gonna tuck our toes though. Spine is still nice and tall. We're gonna inhale, and then as we exhale, drop into our cow. And then as we exhale, rounding, and we're gonna push our bum back towards our heels. Maybe we walk our hands out a little bit more. Inhaling forward to our tabletop, lowering to cow. Exhale, rounding and sitting back on our heels. Opening up the fascia and the feet as well here at the same time as we press back. One more time through. Exhale, pressing back. Beautiful. Coming back to our neutral spine, we can untuck our toes. Maybe we bring our knees a little bit further, sitting back on our heels and really melting down into this child's pose. Arms can be reaching forward. We can have active arms, opening up our shoulders if that feels better, or arms can be reaching back towards our feet. Really settling in here for a few breaths. Maybe rocking our head from side to side, temple to temple. We can even rock our hips from side to side. And then finding stillness here for a few breaths. Maybe noticing how this child's pose feels for you this morning. Maybe this feels like where you're supposed to be. And knowing you can always come to this pose whenever you need to. Beautiful. On our next exhale, walking our hands just gently over to the left, rooting the right hip bone towards the right heel, lowering back down, opening up the right side body. And then walking our hands back through center and over to the right this time. Left hip rooted to the left heel. Maybe noticing how this feels on either side. Maybe one side feels a little bit tighter than the other. And again, just observing and noticing and tuning back into your body. Beautiful. Walking our hands back through center, looking forward at our hands, pressing through our palms, coming into our tabletop pose. Fingertips spread nice and wide again, finding that foundation with our fingers. Tucking our toes, lifting our hips up and back. Downward facing dog. If downward facing dog doesn't feel good for you this morning, I invite you to find child's pose, or you can remain in tabletop. Beautiful. You know what to do here. Settle in, finding the movement that you need, that your body craves here. And then finding a couple breaths here, really releasing our chest towards our thighs. We're going to take a nice big inhale here and exhale, sigh it all out, let it go. One more time, a nice cleansing breath in through the nose, and exhale, really sighing everything out, letting it all go. And then on our next few breaths, we're gonna bend our knees and we're gonna baby walk to the top of the mat, opening up everything, waking up our feet and our ankles. And then finding that forward fold again, knees bent as much as we need to be. Torso really rooted on our thighs here. And again, we can find some movement, maybe rocking back and forth, maybe side to side, maybe holding on to opposite elbows. Beautiful. And then on our next breath, we're going to slowly rise up one vertebrae at a time, letting our arms be heavy here. And then rolling our shoulders back and down last. Beautiful. Finding our mountain pose here, really rooted strong through our feet. Finding some sun breath here, inhaling up to the sky. Exhale, hinging at our hips, swan dive, forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back, hands on shins or thighs, really reaching the crown of the head forward, sits bones reaching to the back of the mat. Maybe you feel the opening on the back of the hamstrings here. Exhale, bending our knees, forward fold, rooting down, rising up to the sky. And exhaling, mountain. One more time, inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. halfway lift, flat back, holding this for a breath, opening up the back of the body. And exhale, fold, rooting down through our feet, rising up to the sky. And exhaling, mountain. Beautiful, reaching our left hand like it's going into our pocket, right arm reaches up to the sky, really reaching nice and long through our right fingertips. And then if it feels okay, tipping to the left here, really rooting into the right foot. Inhaling back to center, bringing that right hand down, right hand in our pocket this time. Left arm extending, reaching nice and long. And exhaling over to the right, left foot rooted this time. Beautiful, inhaling back to center and finding our mountain pose. We're gonna inhale our arms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, reaching the right foot to the back of the mat, finding that runner's lunge. If that's available, you can also lower this right knee. Fingertips on the mat, heart shining forward. Always remember to make space, to take space if you need to. So you can walk that left foot over to the left if you need to. Beautiful, looking straight ahead. If you need to, you can drop that right knee. If not, we're gonna plant the right wrist underneath the right shoulder, opening up to the left, making sure our hips stay lifted. We're not lowering them too far down. Again, that right knee could go to the mat. Beautiful, circling this left arm around. Now we are gonna lower that right knee to the mat. We can untuck our toes, rising up, low lunge here. Beautiful, exhaling our hands down to the mat, walking our hands back, straightening that left leg. Can still stay a little bit bent though. Left toes flex towards the face. And then we're gonna roll back and forth with this. So in our exhale, we're gonna walk forward into our low runner's lunge here. And then walking that back. Maybe our spine stays tall the whole time, or we can round into our half split, whatever feels better for you. Beautiful, 2 more times here. And also knowing if one of these poses feels better than the other, you can hold it longer. You don't have to flow. It's your practice and your journey. Beautiful, coming back to our low lunge here. And then we're gonna bring the left knee to meet the right, finding that tabletop pose. We're gonna spin our right toes off the mat, tucking the right toes, finding our supported side plank. So left leg reaches out. Right wrist is underneath our right shoulder, left arm reaching up to the sky here. So we're not dumping into our shoulder. We're really one long line of energy in our arms here. Beautiful, feels okay. We're gonna reach that left arm overhead, bicep by our ear. Maybe we turn our pinky to the back of the room. And know that you can stay here. If you'd like to move, we're gonna exhale, lift that leg off the mat. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lifting it up. And inhale it down. Beautiful, 2 more times through here. And last time through. Beautiful, lowering that left foot on the mat, really rooting down through our left foot and our right knee. We're gonna press through this right arm, rising up into gate pose, arms extending. And then our left hand can go on our left leg, right arm reaches up, long through our fingertips, and we can tip to the left if it feels okay. Beautiful, we're gonna cartwheel our arms and we're gonna make our way back into our tabletop. Fingertips spread nice and wide, tucking our toes, lifting our hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bending our knees and walking our feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, reaching up to the sky. And exhaling. Mountain pose. Beautiful, inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, left foot to the back of the mat this time. Finding that low runner's lunge. Again, fingertips cupped, heart shining forward, not dumping too far into our hips, or we can lower that left knee. Again, if you need to heel toe that right foot to the right, by all means. You can lower that left knee if you like. If not, left wrist underneath our left shoulder, opening up to the right. Beautiful, circling that right arm around. We're gonna lower the left knee, untuck the toes if that feels good. Rising up, low lunge. Exhale, hinging forward, and then walking that foot back. Finding that half split here, right toes gently flexed. And then walking back and forth from our low lunge to our half split. Just for a couple breaths here. Once again, I invite you to round in if it feels good, keeping your spine straight, or holding one shape longer than the other. Beautiful, last time through here. Walking back to our low lunge, and then our right foot meets our left in our tabletop. Pivoting that left foot, tucking the left toes, opening up into our side plank on this side. Left wrist underneath our left shoulder, reaching high through those fingertips. And if it feels okay, reaching that right arm forward, palm facing down, maybe turning our pinky finger to the back of the room. And again, we can stay here if we'd like to find a little bit of movement. We're going to exhale our right leg up and inhale, lower. Beautiful, moving nice and slow here. 2 more times. And last time through. Beautiful, lowering that right leg, really pressing into the bottom of that right foot and our right knee as we press off with our left hand, finding our gate pose. Right hand by our right leg, left arm extending, reaching long, and then tipping to the right if that feels good. Beautiful, we're gonna cartwheel our arms, making our way back into our tabletop. And then tucking our toes, lifting our hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Bending our knees, walking our feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up to the sky. And exhaling, mountain. Beautiful. Inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, left foot to the back of the mat, high on the ball mound of that left foot if that feels okay. Rising up into crescent lunge or low lunge. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, right foot meets left, downward facing dog, or tabletop, or child's pose. Inhale, floating forward like a wave, shoulders over our wrists. We can lower our knees if we need to. Exhaling all the way down to our bellies. Again, rooting into the tops of our feet and our pubic bone, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Inhaling up, baby cobra or cobra. Exhale, lower. Pressing up and back, finding child's pose for a breath. Inhaling forward to tabletop, tucking our toes, lifting our hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Bending our knees and walking our feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down as we rise up to the sky. And exhaling, mountain. Inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, reaching the other foot to the back of the mat this time. High on the ball mountain, rising up when we feel steady. Beautiful. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, left foot meets right. Downward facing dog. Floating forward like a wave to plank or kneeling plank. Lowering all the way down to our bellies. Rooting in again here, inhaling up, cobra or baby cobra, elbows into ribs. Exhale, lower. Pressing up and back, child's pose. Inhaling forward to our tabletop, tucking our toes, lifting our hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Bending our knees, walking our feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, reaching up to the sky. And exhaling. Mountain pose. Maybe grab a sip of water. And then meeting back in our mountain pose here. Once again, we can roll our shoulders back and down. Maybe wiggle out anything we have there. Inhaling up to the sky. Exhaling, hands down through heart center as we lower our hips into that baby chair here. Rooting through our right foot as we lift this left knee towards our chest. And then we're gonna hinge back, making our way into our crescent lunge a little bit more gracefully than me. Arms rising up. Hands to heart center, pivoting that left foot, opening up. Warrior two. Right palm reaches up a little, reach forward. Exalt our warrior. Beautiful, coming back to warrior three. Circling our left arm, pivoting that left foot, crescent lunge. Hands to heart center, really rooting into our right foot as we rise up. Ooh, letting our left toes be heavy on the mat. Spine is nice and tall. Inhale, growing nice and long. This is a warrior three. If you'd like a little bit more, we can hinge forward, flexing those left toes towards our face. Making our way forward, warrior three. Hands can go in airplane, heart center, they can reach forward. Holding for one more breath. And then exhale, rising up out of that. Again, we can shake this out. And then making our way into mountain pose. Inhaling up to the sky. Exhaling down through heart center, lowering into that chair. Rooting into the left foot as we use our core to reach this right knee to our chest. And then hinging back, really reaching that right foot to the back of the mat. Finding crescent lunge, hands can stay at heart center or we can rise up. Beautiful, hands to heart center, pivoting this right foot, opening up. Warrior two. Left palm reaches up, exalt our warrior. Beautiful, warrior two. Circling our right arm around, pivoting that right foot, crescent lunge. Hands to heart center, rooting into that left foot, rising up. Right toes just gentle on the mat. Again, inhale, creating length here. Spine is nice and tall. Knowing that we can stay here. If we'd like, we're gonna hinge forward, flexing those right toes. Slight bend in the left leg here, and arms in whatever variation feels good for you. One more inhale, and then as we exhale, rising up, we can shake that out. Beautiful, finding our mountain pose here, inhaling up to the sky, nice and slow. Exhale, swan dive. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, stepping back into our tabletop, and lowering all the way down to our bellies here. Beautiful. We're going to find a couple baby cobras or cobra. Hands in beside the side body. Wrists are probably in line with the bottom of your bra line. Really, once again, rooting through the tops of our feet. Maybe we feel our knees lift off the mat. Rooting into that pubic bone. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Inhaling up into baby cobra or cobra. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, lower. Beautiful, we can release that. Maybe rock our hips. And finding one more time here. Rooting in. And then as we exhale, rising up. Beautiful, inhaling, lowering all the way down. And pressing up and back into our child's pose. Arms can be outstretched. They can be back by our feet. Maybe our forearms are lifted if we want a more active variation. We can even bring our hands into prayer above our head. Whatever feels good for you. Letting everything go. Becoming heavy on the mat once again. And breathing into the back body here. Allowing breath to enter all of the spaces in your body. And slowly rising up out of that, hands by our knees. And we're going to make our way into the middle of the mat. We're going to find butterfly pose. So soles to touch, knees out to either sides. Again, moving our feet close as we'd like, or moving them a little bit further away. Spine is nice and tall. Inhale, create some length. And then exhale, hinging forward. Maybe our spine stays straight, or maybe we round in. Whatever feels good for you. Once again, breathing into any tight spaces here. Beautiful. On our next breath, slowly rising up out of that. Closing our legs up like a book. And we're going to make our way into the middle of the mat. And lowering all the way down to our back. Hugging in one knee and then the other. Knees to chest. Maybe we rock side to side. Or maybe we just find stillness. Beautiful. We're going to release our feet to the mat, keeping our knees bent. Finding a bridge pose here just to open everything up. Rooting into our shoulders and our feet. We're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, lifting our hips up to the sky. Holding this for a breath or two. And then as we exhale, lowering down one vertebrae at a time. Releasing our feet further away from us to the edge of the mat. Arms can go in cactus or T, and we're just going to windshield washer that out side to side, moving with your breath. And maybe the next time your knees fall to the right, you allow them to stay there for a few moments. Maybe you look straight ahead or out to the left, tuning back into your breath. Does your breath feel differently now than it did at the start? Maybe it feels more expansive. On our next breath, making our way back to center. And then dropping our knees to the left, again looking straight ahead or out to the right. Nice, gentle supine twist here. Inhaling back to center, and we're going to find a happy baby pose. So hugging our knees into our chest. We can start with our hands just on the backs of our thighs, opening up our hips here, pulling our knees towards our armpits. Tailbone stays rooted on the mat, so we're not rounding up. And if you'd like to add a little bit more on, we're going to reach through the inside of our legs to the outsides of our soles of our feet, pulling our feet down to the ground, hands into feet, feet into hands. You can rock side to side. You can rock your baby. Beautiful. And then bending our knees, bringing our heels in towards our bum, hugging our knees towards our chest. One final time. Maybe we even round up, bringing our forehead to our knees here, creating a little bit of tension. And then as we exhale, releasing into your variation of final resting pose, Shavasana. Maybe our knees are bent, maybe they're straight out. Maybe we close our eyes or soften our gaze. And taking a nice cleansing breath in through the nose, filling up your belly, your ribs, and your chest. And exhale it all out, letting it go. One more time, inhaling in, filling up all the spaces in your body. And exhale, really releasing your practice and your morning, letting it all go. And just coming back to your breath. Can you feel your chest rising and falling? Maybe on each exhalation, you feel a little bit heavier on the mat beneath you. And just finding your breath here for a few moments, allowing me to hold this virtual space for you. And maybe we start to call ourselves back with a breath. And if your body feels like it's ready for movement, I invite you to start with some small, gentle ones, but also knowing you can remain here as long as you need to. You can start to expand those movements when you feel ready. Maybe rolling out your wrists and your ankles. And then finding any other movement that your body is craving in this moment. Maybe another knees to chest, maybe a big hug, or maybe a big reach stretch. And in your next few breaths, I invite you, if you're ready, to plant your feet on the mat, knees bent, reaching our left arm over our head and rolling over onto our side body. Pausing for just a moment. And then pressing through our palm and making our way up into seated lotus pose, however that looks for you. And then taking one last breath together here, inhaling nice and slow, really gathering up the beauty of the day ahead of you. And exhale, pulling that all into our heart center, finding some gratitude. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I truly hope you have a very lovely day. The love and the light in me truly sees and honors the love and the light in each of you. Namaste. Thanks, ladies.